Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 82 of Shattered Image, and this one is titled Run. What? You asked, a little defensive, but also a little challengingly. What is your issue? I'm just asking what you want to eat. He just gave you a really dark glare and then looked down at his menu in front of him. You let out a short huff through your nose and then turned your attention to Sero. Do you know what you want? You asked him. You bet. He replied with a grin. You nodded and then turned your menu towards him. I'm thinking this one, you said, pointing to the menu to show him the dish. That's the one I want. No way. He chuckled. That's the one I want too. Liar, you said with a surprised chuckle. As if. No, dead serious. He chuckled. Why? I can't have the same thing as my girlfriend. He added with a small smirk. You tried to hide your smile at his comment, but he saw you and nudged your shoulder. Okay, fine. I guess you can have it. He replied with a playful eye roll. Ugh, Hobie said with disgust from across the table from you both. Gross, do I have to third wheel you guys? What is your deal? You snapped suddenly at him. He suddenly ripped the small earpiece from his ear and smashed it onto the table. Hobie's gone dark. You heard Mr. Me and I said into your earpiece, other voices in the background scrambling to get him back online, but you were keeping your eye on Hobie. Unlike you two free spirits, they've now put a cuff around my ankle that zaps me if I get out of line. He growled darkly. Screw you two. It's not our fault you're in this predicament, you snapped back at him. I don't care what's up your ass. You can't blame us. Screw you right back. Hobie went to say something else, but then jammed his mouth shut and glared at you instead. Do you need help, Hobie? Sero asked in a lowered voice. His sharp glare switched from you to Sero, and he remained silent. You were about to say something else, but then you saw his expression soften, and he went to say something, but Mr. Me and I was in your ear. Do you have eyes on Hobie? He asked urgently. Yeah, I do, you replied. He's fine. Something's happened to his earpiece though. It just fell out. Did he pull it out? Mr. Me and I asked you. No, a piece fell out of his ear, so he pulled it out to try and reassemble it. You lied quickly. Hobie looked at you, and you reached your hand out to him across the table. Let me look at it. Has the back come off? You asked him. He just blinked at you, and you gestured wildly for him to pass the earpiece to you, so he did, picking the smashed earpiece up off the table and passing it across the table to you. Yeah, the back has just come off, you said, lying as you looked at the clearly smashed earpiece in hand. I'll see if I can put it, you added, pretending like you were going to try and fix the thing, but deliberately dropping it on the floor instead. Ah, crap, I dropped it. You added, stomping on it on purpose and then gasping loudly and pausing. What? Mr. Me and I said into the earpiece. What happened? I accidentally stepped on it, you lied, giving Hobie a dead stare. Sorry, you added, with zero remorse. Those cost a lot of money, Yin, Mr. Me and I growled into the earpiece. Yeah, okay, you replied. Put it on my tab. Sero hid his face in his hands, appalled that you would dare to lie and then smash an expensive piece of government equipment with zero remorse, but Hobie seemed shocked and pleased that you had done that, on his behalf no less. Mr. Me and I was exploding on the other end of the earpiece to you, and also to those around him to get another earpiece to Hobie, but while this was all going on you noticed a guy walk into the shop and stare directly at you, then look at Sero, then the back of Hobie, and then wander over and sit down in a chair that was facing all of you, and you stiffened. Hey, boss man, earpiece is the last thing on the list right now. I think we've got company, you said, as you averted your eyes from this newcomer. That got Mr. Me and I's attention now, and he ceased his yelling for a second so that he could listen to you. Guy at my 12, dark jeans, blue shirt, walked in and eyed all of us and then has sat down facing us. You said, this guy is mad sus. Sarah just looked at you. How does she know all of this? He wondered, glancing at the guy in question, who hadn't even picked up a menu yet. Okay, Mr. Me and I said, there's a back door that you can take Hobie out. What if he follows us, though? You asked. You're heroes in training, are you not? Mr. Me and I asked somewhat snidely. This bitch, you seethed quietly and internally. But you did have a point. You had been training, so now would be the perfect time to show your skills. Yeah, and you know what? You're lucky you have us, you added. He didn't say anything, so you just looked up at Hobie and then jerked your head. We have company, I think, and Mr. Me and I wants us out. You said, if Brosa follows, we'll deal with him, because the rest of the crew can't handle him, obviously, otherwise backup would have come by now. Your comment was made to Hobie, but with the full intention being to spite Mr. Me and I, and although he didn't say anything into your earpiece, you knew he had heard you. I wonder why Hobie suddenly has the poops with him. you wondered as you stood up, and Hobie and Sero did too. Head to the bathroom, but then take the door on the right instead of the left into the bathrooms, Mr. Me and I instructed into your earpiece. It leads through to the kitchen, so you might need to sprint through to the back door and run out. Great, you thought, deadpanning as you looked at Sero, who returned your deadpanned look. All of this was said as you turned and headed to the door, with Hobie behind Sero and you leading the way. Hobie must have looked back as you all walked into the small hall out the back and seen the sus guy at the table getting up as well. We got company, Hobie said from the back. He's coming? You asked from up front. Hobie nodded from the back. Okay, we sprint now. Follow me, you said, taking off at a run. Hand to drop back, Hobie up front, you added as you ran, and the boys quickly followed orders. I hope Hunter just does his thing back there, you thought, and thankfully you didn't have to think long, since Sero had already deployed tape and quickly stuck it across the hallway at head height and leg height so that the guy giving chase had to slow down. And you assumed that's what happened, since you heard someone swear as you turned right and ran into the kitchen, with Hobie hot on your heels. As expected, the chef and kitchen staff were rather surprised and upset to have 3 teenage kids running into their space, and they started yelling for you all to get out, but that's exactly what you were aiming to do anyway, so you didn't need to be told twice as you sprinted around the deep fryers and ran for the back door, and then slammed it open and jumped from the top step. As you jumped, you remembered the last conversation that you'd had with Aizawa before being deployed on this mission. Take your scarf, he had said, and if you need to use your quirk to stun so that you can get the upper hand in a fight, do so. This is real world now. They're not going to wait for you to pick yourself up, and if you do damage to them, the CIA will cover it. He said, you are my main priority. Stay safe. You grinned as your feet hit the ground and you kept sprinting. It's a good thing I've got my scarf on me, Aizawa, you thought as you patted your right pocket to make sure it was still there. It was, and you glanced back to make sure both your boys had made it out the back door before you looked back ahead of you again. You were sprinting down the alleyway now, headed for the main road, but all of a sudden 3 men came from nowhere and stood 3 abreast across the opening of the alleyway to the main road, blocking your way. It's a 3-on-3, can you fight, Hobie? You called back to him as you continued to run. Hell no, what the heck? He called back as he ran behind you. Great, you said with an amped up grin on your face. It's a 3v me, stay behind me, you called as you pulled the scarf from your right pocket and readied it. What is that, Yin? Sarah called from the back. Fight, fight, fight. Yes, there will be a little bit of a scuffle in the next chapter. I'll see you tomorrow for that one. See you then.